The sequel trilogy to Halloween is over and a key question is asked.
Imagine if your grandmother had fallen in love with Michael Myers, but she didn't.
Would she be like, hey, I can change him? Well, what indeed? While I was expecting the final showdown of Laurie versus Michael, instead we got some weird Halloween 3 Season of the Witch style stuff, which guess that makes sense as this is the third movie in this trilogy. We got the supernatural weirdness and a sort of Joker style One Bad Day story mixed with Pennywise. Now, I have seen many people say they hated this movie, saying it's the worst movie they've ever seen. Many did say that about Halloween Kills, and why I don't think that is a pretty good movie. I was entertained at least, but here I found it pretty dull. It's a similar thing with Ends as it goes so far from what was supposed to be the end, in my opinion. As in, we spend most of it following this new Michael Myers. I got what they were trying to do, it just wasn't for me. The opening credits give the die-hard Halloween viewer an insight into the supernatural and the lean into this that this movie takes. The text of the opening credits replicates that of Halloween 3 Season of the Witch. This didn't feature Michael Myers and descended into sci-fi and the supernatural. Myers' supernatural being was hinted at and theorised by the town's residents in Halloween Kills, and Myers controlling Corey is a sort of continuation of that. Or is it? Was that all in Corey's head? Yeah, we're going to get into that. The movie opens with Corey coming to a house to babysit Jeremy. It's the year after the events of Ends, while the whole town came out in a mega panic and hunting party to kill evil tonight, or evil dies tonight, whatever. I wonder, why would anyone stay there? The parallels between Laurie and Corey, hey, they rhyme. I'm going to get into that as well. I like the twist of a guy being the babysitter, and I thought he would become a male Laurie, but instead it's an investigation into how evil can form in people, or here, a town pariah. Corey's internal struggle of good and bad is hinted at when Jeremy's father plays Toccata and Fugue in D minor, I've probably butchered that, which was used in the movie Dr. Jekyll and Hyde, which has become a saying for having a good and an evil side. I have to say, the book's really good. I like how the mother says, hey, he gets scared easily, referencing Jeremy, so naturally Corey, like the dumbass he is, decides to watch The Thing. This movie was directed by John Carpenter, who also directed the original Halloween in 1978. However, it's also a neat callback to the original Halloween, where Laurie, when babysitting Tommy, watches The Thing from Another World. That being the original version of The Thing, as Carpenter did remake that movie. Man, that's cool. That movie also deals with the question of which person is the evil thing killer, so yeah, I'm reaching there. A misunderstanding leads to Corey being thought a killer. Myers' murderers are seen as misunderstandings by a few people, like the radio DJ, who says this.
Y'all know the Laurie Strode story? She teased a man with brain damage and then he snapped.
And Laurie is also blamed by Sandra's sister.
See what he did to my sister? He killed her husband and he stabbed her. Took her voice. She cannot speak because of you.
After all this, we skip ahead a few years. We see Laurie has moved on, writing her memoirs Stalkers, Savers and Saw When. It reminded me of Sidney Prescott in Scream 3, having moved away and moving on. But here, our girl is moving on while moving in, literally, to a house in Haddonfield. The name Samhain was the original name for Halloween as part of the Celtic festival. In Halloween 3 Season of the Witch, a Celtic killer tries to honour that tradition. Not everyone could move on, as we see Oscar's mother, the kid killed in the first movie, and saw his body in the morgue. Well, she's killed herself and we see her hanging as the events of the first few movies and the aftermath are recapped. And Sandra has also survived, surprisingly, still reeling from what's happened. Laurie still, though, experiences lapses due to her trauma, having burned a pumpkin pie for Halloween, a reach but could be a reference to them burning Michael Myers at the end of the first movie, lapsing over into the second movie of this trilogy. It's quite jarring how her daughter was killed, and it's just a time jump story of what if Laurie and Michael hooked up, as is told through Corey and Allison. I don't necessarily hate the idea, but it doesn't feel like the end to the trilogy. Allison meets Corey after he is attacked by high school kids who recognise him after he refuses to buy them booze. It's here they strike up an instant connection. She sees in him what others see her as. They both have a reputation that precedes them, which is almost legendary, and only see them as that as opposed to what they actually are. They do go on to go to a party together. Here he bumps into a person who is actually in real life one of the original actors who played the Shape, and he can't let go and be free, as after the death of Jeremy he has been a pariah. His mask, the scarecrow there, is noted as not being scary by Allison's friend.
Sir, I'm a scarecrow!
He's meant to be scary.
Might be why he wears it later when he goes to off her. He lets go, but is noticed by Jeremy's mother, who does not forgive him, saying, well, she knows what he did on purpose. There's a clear split between the mother and the father, as the father sort of knows that this was an accident. Both Corey and Laurie are accosted by the public. Hey, their names rhyme, cementing their dark mirroring. He also says later that he was a psycho babysitter and it all went wrong for him, while people just feel sorry for Allison. But Laurie was also a babysitter, with the opening scene of this movie being a retread of Laurie's babysitting. Her night also went wrong with her being stalked while he became a killer. It proves too much for Corey, who bails and is furious, thinking he's being pitied, and, well, he leaves. Now it's here he runs into the bullies once more. He saw the jock at the mechanic yard and tries to empathise, saying that he knows what it's like to be hated or not liked, as the kid's dad is horrible to him, but he ends up pushing him off a bridge. These bullies, I'm so glad when they got killed, they're absolute douchebags. This part did remind me a bit of I Know What You Did Last Summer, and Corey is taken into a sewer by Michael Myers, who has turned into a Pennywise figure, licking his wounds after the final fight in the previous movie, and imprints onto Corey, turning evil, reading his mind. And I imagine that Corey in this state had given up and was at a low, accepting the evil, which is what Myers saw in him as he reads his mind, and could get revenge on Laurie this way. Myers, via Corey, attempts to draw Allison away from Laurie, and their whirlwind romance happens, and he has a renewed figure. He stalks Myers, or stalks like Myers, hiding and appearing. His eyes blacken, and Laurie notes that he has the same look as Myers. She actually speaks to Jeremy's father, who knew it was an accident. However, he himself noticed Corey had changed too. I really liked how the father said the town took his parental grief and used it for their own to create a new boogeyman. However, Corey slowly starts to get revenge on people as he kills the guy who Allison didn't call back, double teaming with Michael Myers. No, I don't like this double team Sith Lord, there must be two stuff going on, but he returns home and bangs Allison as Myers follows. He does another tag team killing, taking out the doctor who passed over Allison for her promotion, and he was mentioned in the previous movie, albeit only by name, and her friend is killed and pinned up, just like Bob in Halloween 1978 and Dave in 2018, and has become a trademark in a way. He is fast descending into Myers' trademark evil, and we watch the radio station we hear throughout. Now, however, he falls off after a tender moment with Allison, and we can see how far he has become Myers as he literally rises up just like him. He falls out with his mother and ends up living in Jeremy's house and even sleeps where he died. Now, Laurie is on the front foot, refusing to hide and taking on this new evil head on. It's what I wished had happened. I wish he took on a defeated Myers and that turned the tables, but we got this. Okay, anyway, he intends to move away with her, but Laurie is aiming to stop this. He taunts her, saying that if he can't have her, no one will, which plays into the ending when he would stab himself to make it look like Laurie killed him and drive Allison away, being eerily similar to the accident at the start. He wrestles with Myers after the conversation with Laurie, making me wonder, is this real? Is Myers taking him over real? I put this down to the kills impervious Myers coming back from that assault at the end, to the townspeople hyping up his myth to godlike things. Here, after hitting his head, he could think that he's literally becoming what people think of him, giving into it. Now, admittedly, it's unlikely based on the procession at the end, but the fight at the scrapyard was jarring as we try to work out if it's Michael, is it Corey? Also sort of plays into what the radio DJ said here.
Y'all know the Laurie Strode story? She teased the man with brain damage and then he snapped.
As the kids torture Corey, leading him to literally snap. Either way, the final showdown happens and Corey is done, it's just Myers left. Now, Laurie uses the knitting needle like in 1978 and also sees his reflection on a knife similar to the posters from the ignored sequels. Now, Laurie accepts her fate before Allison goes for the kill, getting revenge for her mother and many others. The procession is odd, but rights the wrongs of kills where, mate, you've got to just destroy this body. We see Julian from the first movie, and Laurie's outfits are similar to the first movie, and Myers is gone, but as Laurie says, evil doesn't die, it changes shape, referencing how Corey became the new boogeyman. While the end we hear Don't Fear the Reaper by Blue Oyster Cult seems very on the nose, but it was played in the first movie, bookending this franchise. Now, I didn't particularly like this movie. I got what they were doing, but it's not what I personally wanted, so I can't give it an L for that, but it just didn't click with me. And it's a shame, as 2018 was a stunning piece of work. But that is it for this video. Please do drop a like if you enjoyed it, and do subscribe with notifications on, and I'll see you soon, and goodbye.